Listín Diario Editorial for June 13th of 2024. Even Pinochet called referendums. Such is the intrinsically representative and legitimizing force that the referendum has as a pillar of democracy that even a dictator appealed to it twice. On both occasions, the intention was to give validation and continuity to a de facto regime, with full authoritarian control over his country from 1973 to 1990, that is for 17 years. We are referring to General Augusto Pinochet of Chile, leader of the military coup that overthrew the constitutional regime of Salvador Allende on September 11th of 1973. Paradoxically, Pinochet relied on a mechanism emblematic of the sovereign power of the people to give constitutional cover to the mandate of the coup plotters. In this framework of repression, censorship, and human rights violations prevailing in Chile, General Pinochet promoted a referendum in 1978 to obtain popular support in the face of massive international condemnation for such abuses. In 1980, a new constitution was approved that established a transition period towards democracy. And as part of that transition, the call for a plebiscite in 1988 was included to decide whether Pinochet will continue in power for another 8 years. Naturally, it was a directed, manipulated plebiscite with the intention of keeping Pinochet in place longer without democratic elections. To their surprise, 54% voted against Pinochet's aspirations, thus marking the beginning of the end of his regime. That historic referendum automatically paved the way for democratic restoration, and in the free elections held a year later, in 1989, President Patricio Aylwin was elected. Pinochet left supreme power in 1990 and remained commander-in-chief of the army, a kind of power behind the throne until 1998, and then became a senator for life. These experiences demonstrate that the referendum, whether in democracy or dictatorship, has enormous value as a mechanism of political legitimation. Through it, the voice of the people is expressed. The Chileans of 1988, overcoming fears and dictatorial pressures, put it to the test, and they rescued their democracy. For Listín Diario, voiceover and translations by Indira Rodriguez.